Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1. Last week we looked at the worst, now it's time for simply the best F1 liveries. We're going to look at all the current teams' best liveries, and if you don't know the rules from last week, I'll lay them out for you again here. We're not allowed to go back to different iterations of the team, so like Mercedes, we can't say the Brawn one's the best, even though the Brawn one is the best. But if just the team name changed but the owners remain the same, we will allow it. So for Racing Bulls, we can go to Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri if we need to. But yeah, if the ownership has changed between them, then that doesn't count. I hope that is clear. I don't know if it is. Anyway, shall we begin? We'll begin with Haas, and to be fair to them, Haas have had quite a few good liveries. They've also had some very controversial liveries. Mitch Energy 2019, the Russian flag of 2021, but for me the best Haas is 2022. Now this is the epitome for me of keep it simple. There's only like 3 colours on here. You've got white, red and black. But it's a great looking car. It's so slick and clean. The Haas logo on the side pops really well. It's a great livery, especially when you remember that it was actually made in a rush, because this was supposed to be Russian Haas Part 2, but plans changed and they produced this and it looks incredible. Great stuff from Haas. And I hope this is kind of where they go again this year, but I don't know if they will. Sauber now, and Sauber have had a long time in the sport and some great liveries. 1996 saw the debut of that Red Bull Petronas Sauber, which is always mad to look at now, knowing, the Red Bull racing team and Petronas' history with Mercedes. But the one that I've gone for, I feel it's equally iconic, is the 2008 Sauber. The only Sauber ever to win a race, the only Sauber ever to lead the championship, and it is a beauty. Now I always feel like if a car wins, the beauty of it does increase a bit more, but with this one I think it was already incredible. Once again, quite a simple design, as it was the design they've had since 2006 when they started the partnership with BMW, but combined with these highly stylized aerodynamic parts on the 2008 cars, I think it's an incredible combination. The blue is really striking and fits the car perfectly. Also, those 2 aero spikes that come off the airbox always make me think it's like wearing a Viking helmet, and I mean, what's better than that? Racing Bulls now, and like I said in the worst liveries video, I don't think this team has ever actually had a bad livery. So picking the best one is actually equally as difficult because there have been some very good ones, especially recently. 2021 or 2022 were really good. Of course, the spray paint bull is incredible. No pun intended there. But for me, I'm going for the 2018 livery. In the past couple of years of F1, we've seen a lot of cars lose colours and go more for the black carbon fibre, and this car stands against everything that represents. It's really striking. The silver of the bull and the Red Bull logo is fantastic. Then there's the metallic blue and red. It massively stands out in a crowd of cars, and it's like, this is what I think F1 cars should look like. These kind of metallic, striking, bright colours. It's fantastic to see. Williams, and much like Sauber, Williams have had a long time in the sport. Even longer than Sauber, and they've had some great liveries as well. There's the Martini livery of 2016, the HP livery of 2003, Rothman's livery of 1996, but there's one that's always stood out to me over the rest, and that is the Williams livery of 1993. This is actually the last year of this livery design that first debuted in 1985, 8 years earlier. The most iconic version is probably the 1992 version, which saw Nigel Mansell finally become world champion and win 10 out of the 16 races that year, with Mansell taking 9 of those 10 wins. So why have I chosen the 93 version over the 92 version? Well, that's quite simple. They were sponsored by Sega that year, and Sonic the Hedgehog was on the car in one of the best sponsorship integrations I've ever seen in Formula 1. Sonic on the rear wing, and his legs were on the side in a cutout, which made it look like he was driving the car. 10 out of 10, no notes, job done, fantastic. Across to Alpine, and this one might be a bit controversial. I feel a lot of people expect me to pick the 2005 or 2006 Renaults that saw Fernando Alonso win the title, but I haven't. There's also the 2012 Lotus Renault, which pays tribute to those classic Lotus John Player special cars, which that looks fantastic as well, but I haven't gone for that either. My choice is the 2021 Alpine. I love this car. It's quite similar, in fact, to the Toro Rosso that I picked earlier, with those big bright colours of the red and the blue across the car, using the metallic paint. The French flag is also integrated into the back of the car as it goes from blue to red. The Alpine A looks fantastic, and you know, it's my favourite of any Renault Alpine ever. I think this was the best car on the grid in 2021, where lots of cars looked good on 2021, and yeah, fantastic stuff. Unfortunately, BWT would come along and ruin everything for Alpine liveries. BWT, best water technology, more like worst water technology. Haha! Bloody got 'em! All my homies hate BWT. Aston now, and like I said in my worst liveries video, I don't like Aston's green. I know they have changed the green a little bit, but I still don't like it. It's not for me. So to describe the best Aston, I'm not actually going to pick an Aston. I'm going to pick a Racing Point. Now I feel like, although it's a different team, it's still Stroll owning both of them, so I feel I'm allowed to do it, because the best Aston is the 2020 Racing Point. The car was allegedly based on a Mercedes car from the previous year, but the livery was all original. The pink and blue here works really well, and the white to kind of accent it as well is fantastic. It's an absolutely beautiful car, and we should be really thankful for BWT here for bringing in the pink and making this car look fantastic. I would never say a bad word about BWT. I think they're wonderful, and the stuff they've done to every livery they've touched is fantastic. McLaren, another team with a very long history in Formula 1 and some very good liveries. The orange and white of the 1970s, the iconic red and white of James Hunt's championship winning car in 1976, the 2002 look when they had the drivers' names on the side of the car, and even their modern day liveries have been very good. I think the 2020 car stands out amongst the field of modern cars as one that looks really good. Now, to decide which McLaren is the best looking, I feel it really depends on when you were born. Because if you were born before 1990, I feel you're going to say the Marlboro McLarens are the best, the look that they had throughout the 90s. But if you were born post 1990, I feel you go for the Chrome McLarens. And I was born past 1990, so I'm going for the Chrome McLarens as the best livery, specifically the 2012 Chrome McLaren. It's an incredible look, and also gets the Vodafone red mixed in with it. Always looks good on the Chrome, and it's the 2012 one specifically because I think the car design there looks a bit more slick and it's fantastic. But all the Chrome McLarens are absolutely fantastic. And for me as well, this is also the last great year of McLaren thus far. I'm sure they can get back to that territory, but 2012 was the last year they were winning multiple races in a year, and you know, at points they looked like they could be in with a chance at the championship towards the start of the year. This was the last time McLaren were truly great so far. Ferrari. Now this is the hardest one of the lot. Firstly because they don't really change the livery very often, and also because they don't have to change the livery very often because all of them look amazing. I could have gone for 1958, 1965, 1971, 1973, 1979, 1980, 1991, 2004, 2013, 2017, 2022, but the one I'm going for, the one I've chosen in the end, is 1976. I love this car so much. Red and white for me is the perfect colour combination for a Ferrari. I prefer it so much to when it's just red, or if it's red and yellow or red and black. Red and white is the perfect Ferrari combination. Then you have the Italian flag on the side of the car, the huge number 1 on the side of that car for Niki Lauda's title win the previous year. You've got the driver's name in the cursive writing on the side, which is a fantastic bit of class, which they brought back for the Las Vegas livery for last year. Looked fantastic then as well. The huge bold Ferrari logo shield on the side. This is easily my favourite Ferrari car. It is a beauty. I love it. Mercedes. Mercedes are another team that I don't think have ever had a truly bad livery. 2014 looks good, 2017 is good, 2023 is fantastic as well. But I've got to pick one as the best livery, and for me it is the 2020 black livery, which is their best one ever. The 2020 Mercedes actually started as the iconic silver arrow, but was changed to black to show support for the Black Lives Matter movement and became an instant classic, to the point now where I prefer Mercedes in black than I do in silver. I think it looks so much better. It was a fantastic looking car and it was fast too. The car gave Hamilton his 7th world title, and with a livery change due to a movement very close to his heart, it rewrote the history of Mercedes, and I think it has to be the best Mercedes livery. Red Bull. Now, as I said in the worst liveries video, Red Bull don't change their livery. They just make small little tweaks until they've got it perfect, and I think they've got it perfect now. In 2016, their livery was the first of the modern matte liveries, which causes me to have a kind of love-hate relationship with it, because when it's the only car on the grid using the matte paint, I think, wow, that looks really good. But now everyone's gone for matte paint, and I long for the days of gloss and metallic paint on Formula 1 cars. The modern Red Bulls like 2021 and 2023 will always have a special place in my heart as a Max Verstappen fan, but for the best Red Bull, we're going back to the era of Sebastian Vettel, and more specifically, 2011. The gloss paint of this red on the bull and the logo really pop quite well. The shape of the car here as well I think suits the design the best, and this is just fantastic. I think this is the perfect Red Bull car. Go back to gloss paint. I mean, the 2023 car was so fast, they could have painted it with the heaviest paint in the world and still won everything. So let's go back to a bit of heavier paint, why don't we? So there you go, there is my best liveries for each of the current Formula 1 teams. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.